welcome to Mrs. G Sewing Space. Today we're going to learn how to make shorts out of t-shirts. And this is one pair. It's a big old pair, big old pair of shorts for me. And here's my second pair. And we're going to talk about the pros and the cons and everything about these two pairs of shorts. And I'm going to go through it. I'm going to explain to you how to cut them out, how to sew them together, and how to put the waistband in. And I'm also going to share some things with you about things I learned along the way. And I'll see you at the end of the video. So we're using this. I'm going to show this as sort of like a diagram to what you need to look for when you're drawing out and you're cutting out the fabric for the t-shirt. So for my t-shirt here, this was the front. So what I did for my shorts here, the hem that was with the t-shirt itself, I kept that. I didn't pick it out, and I decided to use that as the hem of my shorts. So I didn't have to hem anything myself. For these particular pair, I didn't want elastic all the way around my waist, so I put elastic in the back, and I added ties to the side so it would come out in the front. And then I could tie it. That way I could adjust it if I needed to, if I wanted it tighter or looser or however I wanted it. And these are just ties from the t-shirt itself. I tried to serge the edges there, so it's just a big old mess, and by the time I got done, I didn't care anymore. It was done, I wasn't going to fix it. So there are the pants. So if you have an old pair of shorts that you have at home that you like, take one leg and fold it to the inside. So take one leg and just fold it to the inside of the other leg, like this. Match up those seams right there, because those are going to be your inseams. So match those up like this, and then get it all straightened out. Because and I'm going to show you the things that you need to look for. So when you look at a pair of shorts, you're going to see two things. You're going to see your front, your back, where your booty is, and where your front is. Okay, so this is lined up. Now I can tell my front from my back, and the elastic and the wrinkliness up there doesn't matter. Put you in a little bit. Put this sideways so you can see better. Okay. For the shorts, you're going to have your inseam, which is right here, and the short curve right here, and the short length, that's your front. So this is the part of the pant that lays right across from your belly button down your front. This larger curve right here and up the back, and see how it's taller in the back than it is in the front? This is your back side. So you need this extra length and this deeper curve to accommodate your booty. So when you are cutting out your t-shirt, these are the things that you need to look for and to take into account when you're cutting out the fabric. Now what I did, I took my shorts and I started with the inseam. The inseam, the part that goes on the inside of your legs right here, is going to be the outer edges of your t-shirt. So you're going to eventually clip the sides down, and that's going to become the inside of your pant. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to match up the bottom hem like that, and I'm going to stretch it out along the side so that it will stretch. I'm not going to stretch it incredibly. I just want to stretch it enough so everything lays flat and it's nice and neat. And then there's my point right here. Now you want to include seam allowance, and for this particular project you can do 1/4 of an inch or just over 1/4 of an inch. Because this is a knit, I would normally serge it, but I'm going to show you how to use a different stitch on your sewing machine so if you don't have a serger, and I'm assuming most of you don't. So you have your point here, and then you add a little bit extra, like 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch or whatever, to the top if you have it, there you go, right there, to act as a seam allowance. So, and then you trace it out. And then if I had enough, adding an extra little bit so that I could have a casing. Now notice I marked here, I marked a little bit on the sleeve, and that's okay, it's just a little bit. But if you have to mark a lot on the sleeve, you might need a bigger shirt. And then I took it and I rolled it over and did the same thing. So the inseam to the other side, I matched up the hem, and did the exact same thing on the other side. Okay. Now I marked at the top where the end of my casing would be, and then the end where the casing would be in the back. And then I was going to have to mark up those, because the back, this is the back side, the back is higher than the front, so it's taller than the front. There's going to be like, what, a 2-inch difference, possibly a 2-inch difference between the two. So from that mark to that mark, I used my ruler and just sketched it out. Okay, so now I have the back of my crotch, so that's my butt curve, my waist, which is here, and then this is the front of my curve, right here. But because I'm making shorts that are going to be long on me, to my knees, just below my knees, you know, don't hit the collar and try to avoid the sleeves if you can. If you get the sleeves, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal, but it'd be kind of nice to not have those extra lines across your butt. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out and then we'll start sewing. Okay, so I got everything cut out, and if you noticed, I also cut off the seams. So on the inside where everything was seamed together and sewn together, I just trimmed those off, and that was only like a 1/4 inch there. So now that I have all that done, and I know what side is my back and I know what side is my front, I'm going to put them together. So I'm going to match up the bottom here. Because remember, we kept the hem so that we don't have to hem the shorts. We kept it just as it is, and we are going to match up. This would now be our inseam. Okay, I'm going to do that for the next one, and then we'll come back. I also had this blue shirt, which is actually wider than the red shirt that I found. So what I did is, when I got everything cut out and I was pinning it all up, I realized I could use one of my pieces as a pattern piece for the other shirt, so that way I don't have to like try to refigure it all out. I've already got a pattern right here out of the material that I've just cut out. So all I have to do is trace around it, which is what I'm going to do, and then cut it out. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so here at the top is a placket that has 2 buttons on it, and I'm going to be cutting right between them. So this is supposed to be the top where my casing is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the buttons, and I'm going to sew the placket down, then fold it over and use elastic. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out. I decided on these pair of shorts that I wanted pockets on the sides, like cargo pockets. So I took one of the sleeves that was here, a part of the original sleeve to this particular shirt, and I just cut out a square. I added seam allowance to it, and then I realized that I don't have to add seam allowance to it because I'm not going to be folding it under and doing a patch pocket like a normal patch pocket. So I have 2 pieces cut out. The other one's already sewn on the back, and I'll show you that one in a second. But I wanted to show you how I'm going to line them up so that they're even on both sides of my hips. I decided where I wanted the pocket on the first one, and then I placed it and sewed it on so that it's even on the second one. I laid the second side, or the other side of the pant, onto the pant that I've already done, laid it all out, and I could feel the pocket underneath the fabric. And because I can feel it, that means I can line up the pocket on top. Okay, so now I have my pocket, and that's ready to be sewn on, which I'm going to do in a second. So I wanted to show you. So this is the pocket that I did the first time. So I have my chalk marker there. That'll wash out, so I'm not worried about that. So what I did is I sewed it on, and what I ended up using on my machine that's a 16, it's like an overcast stitch. And an overcast stitch is very similar to like what a serger does, where it wraps thread around the edges of the seam so that it won't unravel. So I decided to use the overcast stitch on my sewing machine to try to do this kind of the same things. I wanted to wrap around the edges of the fabric without it unraveling, but still attach it to the pant so that I don't have extra bulk by having to fold the edges of the pocket under. Make sure we have plenty of light. So there you go. So what it ended up doing, it started out nice and it started taking and scrunching the edges of the fabric together, but I don't care. these pants I'm just going to be wearing around the house or as pajamas or something like that. I'm not going to be worrying about wearing these out in public. Well, maybe to the beach or something, but I'm not going to go to a fancy restaurant in these things. These are play clothes for me. But see how it covers the edges and it's secure, so it's not going to stretch, it's not going to pull apart, and it's completely sewn in. This is the back side. And it's completely sewn in and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and sew on the second pocket. And I went ahead and sewed the placket shut so that it's not going to come loose now. Remember to pin right sides together. Now the hem was uneven on this shirt, so I'm going to start here at the crotch by pinning everything together here. And then work my way down because it's going to be uneven. And I didn't realize that either until I cut it out because I wasn't paying attention. And then when I get to the end and I have that unevenness, that's okay, because I can trim that up later. Alright, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to get all my pant legs pinned together and I'm going to sew them up on my machine, and I'll come back to show you the next step. Alright, I've got my inseams done for both my pairs of pants, and I just want to show you the difference between the two. On my blue pants, I used my serger to serge the edges, and you see how clean they are? So that's using my serger because what it does, it serges or sews over the edge and it clips it at the same time. So it clips off all the extra and it makes it nice and clean. Now for your sewing machine, if you don't have a serger and if you use the number 16 or an overcast, it's not as clean, and it, for whatever reason, it scrunches up the fabric. And so you see the little edges right here. I had to go back and trim off the fabric that didn't get rolled in. And so it's a little more raggedy, I guess, because it wasn't cut off as it was sewn, but that's okay. It's going on the inside and nobody's going to see it but you. So it's a good stitch to have, and especially if you don't have a serger. Our next step is going to be putting our pants together. So you need to lay out your pants like so. The inside seams need to meet each other. So if you put your inside seams together and you measure them up together, they should be about the same length. And if you look here at the crotch, if you cut it out right, you can see the difference here. It should not be even. It should be just like this. There should be a definite difference between the front, which is a shorter, less curvy top, or the front, that's the front, and the back is a longer, more rounded curve. So what you're going to do, you're going to meet up the insides to sew the crotch. So you're going to flip one leg inside out, and you're going to slide this leg into the other one, but you're going to keep this one just as it is. So it's going to be inside out. This one is going to meet right sides together. So the right side of the shirt is going to meet to the right side of this shirt that you just flipped out. And the edge right here, this seam is going to meet the inside seam. So let's get all that done. So we're going to meet our seams up just like this. Straighten everything out. Get all the wrinkles out. Just kind of wiggle it. Okay. So now it should pretty much meet up if you cut it out correctly. And sometimes there are going to be wrinkles in there, so you just pull them up and so they meet. So now you need to pin this is your crotch line, so you need to pin your crotch. Okay, so now that has been pinned up in the back and in the front, I'm going to pin up the other pair. I'm going to sew the edges just like I did here on the inside seam. I'm going to do the crotch seam, and when I get both of them back, or when I get both of them done, I'll come back and we'll continue. Okay, so here I am. I'm trying on the blue shorts, and I got mom belly going on here, so please forgive my wrinkles. But when you put them on, you need to try them on one to make sure that they fit around your body. Check here at your crotch, make sure it's not too far up your crotch. You want to make sure it's at a comfortable length here in the middle of your crotch, that it fits comfortably around your body and across your booty. It's not straining, There are no wrinkles. It falls from my booty down. It's not trying to cut me in half here in the back. Even though you check the side, you might see a gap here in the back. That's going to be taken in with elastic. So now that I know that everything looks all right, and then we'll go on to putting the elastic. What I'm going to do here is I took this elastic and I put it around my waist. I put it around my waist and pulled it to a comfortable fit. So where it wasn't too tight, it wasn't too loose, and it was comfortable. And then I'm going to take that, once I snipped it off, that was a comfortable length, I'm going to take it and I'm going to sew, I'm going to overlap it for about, I'm going to do 1 inch. Yes. So I'm going to zigzag the elastic together in a circle, and then I'll come back and we'll show you how to put it on your pants. Okay, I sewed my elastic together, and all I did was a zigzag, overlapping those pieces so they won't come undone. And now what you're going to do, you're going to quarter your elastic. So you're going to flatten it out and pin on the curves. And you just want to pin to be able to mark the curves. So you got, when you fold it in half like this, so you have your half and you do the curves on each side. Like so. So those are that's your half. And then you're going to fold it so the pins meet in the middle. Like this. So pins meet in the middle. And then you put a pin on those ends like this. Okay. And now you have your elastic, divided your elastic into 4 parts. And you're going to do the same thing to your shorts. Now we're going to do the same thing to our pants. So we got our elastic done. And if you look at the circumference of your pants, you already have 2 sides marked. You have your front seam and your back seam, which has already been marked. So you don't have to even put a pin there because you already know where your seams are. However, now you need to find the other 2 sides. So you're going to match up the seams and lay it out just like you did with the elastic to find the other 2 sides, and just put a pin in it. Make sure that's one side and this is the other. Alright, but now we have our sides marked with our pins. We know our front and back seam are the other 2 quarters. So now we're going to take our elastic and we're going to match up, turn this around, and we're going to match up our pin marks with our seams. So I'm going to start here, starting here in the back where we sewed our elastic together with a zigzag. I'm going to match that up right here, and we're going to pin that in place through the elastic like that. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to match up the pins like this. Now, you might notice that the fabric of your pants is longer than your elastic, and that's exactly how it should be. Because what you're going to do when you sew, you're going to sew on the edge of your elastic, through your elastic and through your fabric of your pants, but you're going to stretch it. So you're going to stretch the elastic so that it stretches and meets the length of each side. And it's going to crinkle a lot. It's going to gather a lot on that elastic. And then you're just going to fold it over. So I'm going to go do that real quick. Okay, we're back. So I did the waistband, and I am going to be honest with you guys. The waistband didn't turn out like I was hoping it would turn out. I might have needed a wider elastic, but I didn't have enough room at the top. So I don't know. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Sometimes this stuff doesn't work out, but I'm not going to hide it from you guys. I'm going to share my follies and mistakes with you guys. So on the blue pair, which is what I showed you last time, I had the elastic pin, and the idea was to sew the elastic on the edge, fold it over, and then tack it down so that it'll be nice and hidden on the inside and you don't even have to worry about it. Well, when you tack it down in 2 places, it'll still fold up on the edge. So then I went back and tacked it down again, so on all 4 corners. Well, then it would pull up in the middle. So I tacked those down. So I went in between all the quarters and tacked those down. And all I did was add a line just to hold the elastic down. Right there is where I tacked it down. So I'm leaving it as it is. I'm tired of messing with it. And I'm going to wear them, and I'm going to have a t-shirt over my waistband anyways, just because there's no reason to tuck a t-shirt in. I mean, that would just be silly. So yeah, it looks kind of funky. It didn't work out like I wanted it to, but you know what? I have a new pair of play shorts. Next time I'll have to think about it a little more to figure out why my elastic is flipping up. Honestly, I think I didn't use a wide enough elastic, but that would have affected the amount of fabric that would have folded over, and I didn't have enough at the top to fold it over because I did not want these to be like a hip hugger pair of lounge pants. I wanted them to fit my waist. So on the second pair, what I did end up doing a casing, which looks a lot better. I did a stretch zigzag, which is kind of like a straight stitch, except it has a little zigzag in it, which allows the fabric to stretch as you stretch it. And so that ended up working just fine. So I used the same narrow elastic, and I just put it in the waistband and left it at that. It looks a lot better. It feels better when you put it on. So that's it for these. I'm glad that you made it to the end of the video. I'm glad that you hung in there and you learned how to make shorts out of t-shirts. And the first time making these yoga pants, I don't want you guys to forget that the first time you make them, you're probably going to screw up. You're going to get frustrated, you're going to get exasperated, and you are going to probably throw a temper tantrum and throw them on the floor and not ever want to deal with them again. But don't do that. What I want you guys to do is to pick them up and work through till the end. Even if they look like the worst things in the world, you can still wear them around the house or wear them to bed. In picking them back up, you learn from your mistakes. You can do it again, and you can do a better job. And you have to remember, sewing takes time, and it takes a lot of practice. And even after having years and years and years of skill and practice, you can still screw up. For example, these blue pants. I had an idea that I wanted to try. I've done it before in the past with the pair of knit pants that I have, but it didn't turn out very well. They're not the best looking things in the world, and thankfully no one's going to see them but me. But look at that. Honestly, that looks awful. That's not the best I could do, but I'm going to wear them anyways, and I'm going to get full use out of them. And the next pair I make, i.e. the red pants, the next pair I make will look better. And then the pair I may make after this, if I can find shirts big enough for my booty, they'll end up being better looking than these pair. So don't get frustrated. Well, let me rephrase that. You're going to get frustrated, but don't give up. Continue working to improve your skills, and you will always get better. And some of you will get better at sewing with knits, which I'm not very good at. I need more practice with. And some of you will be better with sewing with wovens. And as you learn and grow and gain your skills, you'll figure it out. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I could always use them. And click the bell beside the subscription button to get notifications every time I have a new video uploaded. And I will see you in the next video. Oh, also, if you guys make yoga pants, take pictures of them and upload them to Instagram. And you can hashtag Mrs. G's Sewing Space. I would love to see what you guys have made. So we're trying a new social media thing. I hope it works out. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video, and hopefully we'll have something just as fun on the next one.